Hello everyone and welcome to Farmer Joe Homesteading. Today I'm going to show you how I tether my goats and why. Stick around and join us for another fun, informative farm video. So all I'm going to use for supplies for tethering my goats is I bought some rope. It's a little bit more durable, and buying just a braided rope is way cheaper than buying like a lead line or a lunge line, which I tried to find, but they were very expensive. This whole thing, it costs me $12, and there's 100 feet. So I have more than enough rope. It's got a UV protectant on it so that it should last long, and it should be everything that I need for this project. The other things I got for this project, I just have some simple carabiners that I'll hook on one end to make it easy to attach it to a tree or post or whatever I decide to attach to. And then on the other end, I just have these lobster claws that will hook up to their collars, and they are on a swivel so that the rope doesn't twist up or knot. So that's all I have for attaching the rope to the goat and to what I'm going to tie them on. So I found the end of my rope, and I am just going to tie it on to the little carabiner here. It doesn't have to be fancy. I am definitely no Boy Scout when it comes to knots. Really, as long as it's not going to come loose, it really doesn't matter at all, as long as it's on there. So this makes it so much easier. I've done before where I didn't, and I just tied this, and then I'd have to find the other end and loop it through. But this way, when I want to attach it to something, I can just loop it around and attach it just like that, and it'll just be a lot faster when I go to move the goats or unhook the goats. So once you've decided how long you want your rope to be, which it really doesn't matter how long it is, you can choose the length of the rope. I definitely wouldn't recommend doing it too short because they get tangled in it, but longer, they also seem to get wrapped around. So I find that like 20 to 25 feet works good for us. So I try to keep it in that. And I mean, I'm not measuring it. I just step out how long of a rope I want, and that's it. So once I have that, then you just get another one of your clips here, and I'm going to attach it pretty much the same way I just did the other end. And then there, that's it. And then you have a nice long tether to be able to tie up your goats for grazing. And now I'm going to repeat this process 4 more times because I'm planning on tethering out 4 of my girls today. So because we are in a zone 3, I still have a little ways to go before I can actually plant my garden. But we have an issue with grass in my rows and around my garden. So I'm actually going to tether the girls out here in the garden to help clean it up a little bit. On the farm, we seem to have a lot of areas that just are not ideal or difficult to mow, or they are too large to be mowed. And we have a lot of areas that seem to work really well for tethering. So our garden just really needs some maintenance right now, and the grass we have growing out around our garden is significantly nicer than in the pastures. The pastures are just not quite ready to go yet. So Tethering just makes sense to help clear specific areas as well as keep weed control, like keep the weeds down a little bit. And the goats just absolutely love it. Few tips for tethering your goats. Number one, they will get tangled. So I definitely don't recommend tethering unless you are going to be home to be able to keep an eye on them. For the most part, all of the tangling I've had is they'll just get the rope wrapped around a leg or something like that, but it's usually not a big deal. They will occasionally wrap themselves around a pole. So like Eloise there is tied to a pole. They all are, but there's fences along some of them, but Eloise is just a pole. So I've had them wrapped around a pole until they can't move before because they just keep walking in a circle, I guess. So make sure you keep an eye on your tethered goats because they do tend to get tangled up in their rope. They also can tangle with each other. So make sure, like I've got these 3 girls here, that there isn't enough overlap that's more than their body. So they can stand beside each other and eat, but they can't go past each other. Otherwise, you do get them all entangled in a knot together. So if you are tethering more than one, make sure that they can't go past each other so that they can all happily munch together still in a herd, so that they aren't just crying to go back in with the rest of the group. So those are my quick tips for tethering. Other than that, it's quite straightforward. So that's it. It's really quite simple. We were able to do it quite cheaply with the supplies for this project rather than going with a cable for dogs. So doing the rope is definitely more cost effective to quickly make it yourself. And the girls are now happy and munching on that fresh spring green grass while we wait for our pastures to grow. We do have other areas on the farm that tethering works really well as well. So they will be tethering up and down our driveway to keep it clean, and really anywhere we can tether the girls that they're able to eat and keep clear helps maintain our farm. It helps keep fires away, and it's way more cost effective as we are not having to feed them because they are out in these areas enjoying green grass and not able to get into things and wreck things. So if you liked this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you back. We post videos each week. And for now, we will see you guys next time.